Hey everybody, thought I'd bring you in for kind of the first video of me messing around with the restoration of a leather pipe. Like I said, this is the one I'm ultimately going to be working on at some point. But this is kind of a no-name leather one, and so I'm going to do a lot of experimenting with this one. So really where I'm at now is I did get this stem off, and if you probably noticed in my last video, the stem was sitting on like that. And I had to put it in the freezer because it was locked. So it even works on these, not just the screw-in ones. But what we're left with is the stummel here. And the difference between this one and the other one, the Longchamp, is that this one, even though the leather is in better condition than the other, the problem is it's a lot drier. It's almost to a dry rot stage. And so I'm kind of looking at it, and I know Andy had mentioned Namdutube and made a comment on my last video about the stitches, about them coming apart. And so I really didn't look at it, and and I did look at it last night, and sure enough, as you can probably, I don't know if you'll be able to see if I get close enough, the stitching is broke down here and it's starting to separate, and on this side. So I have a couple options here. One is just to pull the leather off and to see what's underneath, and maybe if I need to, just maybe rusticate it or make some fills and make it a pipe. But I really want to try some stuff on this one that I can use on the other one. So the next option is, well, what I really want to do is I thought about restitching it, which wouldn't be too hard, but the problem is this leather is really dry. It's like I said, it's almost to a dry rot stage. So that causes a problem. And then the third option is pretty much to get the leather off, make a new pattern, and recover it with a different piece of leather. But to restitch it, because it's so dry, even if I probably did try that, it would pull through the hole. So I did have to try and get some moisture back into it. So from the last video to this video, it's probably hard to tell, but there is a color difference. You know, and honestly, I could probably leave it here and do a little super glue in here to hold that down to keep that seam from actually opening up the rest of the way. That's really what I could do. So I guess there's 4 options. I lied to you. And then just clean out the bowl and call it good. But so anyways, the option I still want to try to restitch this if I can at all possible. So I need to get the rest of this off. And there is one point of concern that I did notice when I looked it over really well, is right here. It looked like there might be a tear, and there is. And basically, I kind of did a nuclear option, I guess, so to speak, to try to get some moisture back into this leather, which did make it look really nice, actually. But it did become a little more pliable, but it's still really dry, so I don't know if I can save it. But there is some missing up here a little bit, and I can live with that. And then, like I said, it looks like there was a tear there. And, you know, it is a little more pliable, and indeed that is a tear going into there. I keep rhyming words. And like that part just kind of chipped off just now. It's dry, and what I used to hydrate it with is maybe not the best thing in the world, but I did put a bunch of petroleum jelly on there and used a hair dryer, and that kind of opens up the pores and allows it to soak through. And it did indeed get all the way through the leather and down even to the briar a little bit. But it's still dry. Like you can see this piece here, so hard on this dark stuff, but that piece just broke off. So I think ultimately, I don't think I'm going to be able to save the leather on here. So really what I'm left with is I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm going to try and rewrapping my own piece on there, which I think is probably what I'm going to have to do. Because I don't think there's any way I can get enough moisture back into this leather, because I think it's too far gone to even restitch it. It would just pull through the leather if it chips off, you know, that easy, just from that little bit of me prying on it, which wasn't very hard. It's probably not going to hold the stitch no more. So we'll see what happens. This is going to be an interesting little thing with this one. I think, however, in this Longchamp, I think I can actually save the leather. It's not as dried out, and there's no stitches broke, but that tip from Andy was just to kind of be careful of stitches when you're cleaning, which was a great tip. Thanks, Andy, because I probably wouldn't have thought of that. I didn't realize that thread really dry rots that bad. But I think on this one, I'll be okay. The stitching is in really good shape. Joey. So before the dog starts barking a little bit more, I'll let you go. Look in the future for this. Like I said, we'll see where this one goes. This is going to be more of an experiment, maybe part challenge, but it should be interesting. You guys have a good weekend.